Well, I think we have a situation brewing in here, and I'm not sure how to handle it. It's going to get a little crazy. Thor is a massive football fan. So am I.
Yes.
Used to be on an NFL broadcast.
Ooh,
so
fancy.
we love our football. We have a fantasy football podcast together, Thor and I. So when Zeth comes in here and says, guys, I have a new football team I've chosen to root for, and you're not going to like it, I don't know where this is headed.
We ain't done yet. It's time for the P1 Podcast.
Fun's not over yet.
Completely uncensored and unfiltered, except for that part.
Looking for the after party with it going.
The show's after show starts now.
Now, there's a few teams I hate. There's a few teams Thor hates, which we will get into in just a second.
Okay.
But give me a little backstory here, Zeth. You were a Chargers fan, right?
Massive Chargers fan.
Okay, so you grew up a Chargers fan.
Yep.
When they left, were you done?
I was done.
Okay.
As soon as they left, they were done.
Have you been teamless this whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Like, there were a couple
Sad.
teams, like, people would try to, like, bribe me to get to their team.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, people would, like, buy me Raiders gear.
Ew.
Or, like, somebody bought me a Packers hat once.
Oh, my
They
God.
tried to,
wow.
like, recruit me to their team. But
But the Raiders now, I hate the Dallas Cowboys because I hate Dallas and everything about it. But if they move to, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Oregon, like
The
I don't.
Portland Cowboys? That doesn't really have the same
doesn't make
ring.
sense.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
they're,
it
so the
doesn't
Raiders,
quite
my
make
point
sense.
is the Raiders moving to Vegas, you still hate the Raiders, right?
yeah.
Because they're still a rival. They're just in
he
Vegas.
was a
So
Charger
it wasn't
fan.
really about Oakland.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in the Bay Area, so I'm a 49er fan, and so you either were one or the other. You were a 49er fan or a Raider fan. Half of my family are 49er fans. The other half, the loser side, are the Raider fans.
That's
Wow.
wild.
No, I'm dead serious. And so I hate the Raiders. I always have hate the Raiders
Yeah.
because of that. But my other hate is for the Cowboys as well.
Oh, really?
I hate the Cowboys because of our rivalry in the 90s. I've always hated the Cowboys. I hate that they think they're America's team. They're very pompous about it.
You want to know
I'm not
a quick
fan.
story about America's team?
What's that?
I heard this. I'm a little bit of a push. I love the history of the NFL. You know that originally the NFL came to the Steelers and said, we want to start calling you America's team. But this Pittsburgh Steelers said, we're not America's team, we're Pittsburgh's team.
Ooh.
So then they gave it to the Cowboys.
Interesting.
Isn't that wild in the 70s? What a stupid move by the Steelers. Like, what a stupid move.
Yeah, but they're number one in Pittsburgh.
That is
so
true.
Not America.
That
So
is
true.
true.
So those are my teams that I
Okay.
cannot stand.
Yeah.
What about you, Thor? What teams do you hate?
I despise the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I despise the Philadelphia Eagles.
Who do you hate more?
Ooh.
It's so tough, man.
Depends on who's
Right
more
now,
successful.
as long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback, we
Daniel
can't
Jones?
beat either of them.
Daniel Jones.
So, yeah, so I don't know. It depends on who's more successful. But man, I just fucking hate those two teams. The Commanders, I don't like either, but it's not on the same level as the Eagles and the Cowboys. So yeah.
Yeah, I hate the Rams because they're in our division.
You didn't like the
but
Seahawks for a
but we
while.
own them.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
I don't really care that much about them anymore. And I it's weird because I kind of really like Pete Carroll. I think he's a really good
But
coach.
you had that rivalry
but
for a little
I
bit.
kind of hate the Seahawks. But
Yeah.
since they lost the Legion of Boom,
Yeah,
they're not
the
as
same.
Not the
big of a
same.
rivalry. So I don't hate them as much. So there are teams out there that we hate.
Yeah. Now, Zeth, when the Chargers left and you didn't have a team, did that change the way you watched football? Did you not enjoy watching it as much, or no, nothing changed besides like you don't wear merch or whatever?
So it changed the way I consume it, I guess. So I started watching Red Zone instead of like whatever team was playing at the time.
Oh,
So
What does
I
that
started-
mean?
It's condensed versions of games that it just shows like the scoring plays
Oh.
and like the exciting plays from every game.
I
and
think you
there's
might
no
be the only
commercials.
human being that doesn't know what the red zone
Yeah.
is at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
You knew what that was?
Yeah.
I do know what the red zone is.
Even
yeah.
Sky knows.
Oh.
Yeah, which is it's just
How
wild.
embarrassing.
Yeah,
Get
they
the
like
fuck
cut
out
to
of
Out of
here.
my
each.
wheelhouse.
They like cut to each game when something cool's happening.
It's for fantasy football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see the scoring plays, so it's all scoring.
Okay.
So I'll watch.
For every game.
I like to have on my TV my own. I'm like flipping around for all the games, but then I keep my iPad Red Zone.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I got two things going.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah. So you were a red zone guy once you didn't have a team.
Exactly. Yeah, I would just kind of work everything around the Chargers. Then they left, so I just kind of started watching whatever game and red zone, and I did start watching less, and I started kind of like having less personal interest in it because I didn't have a rooting interest. So I just kind of watch for the entertainment value.
So
Okay.
is this discovering a new team to get you back in? Because you kind of want to be back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed being a fan of a team. It's fun getting in like little arguments with like friends and like little weird side bets and stuff like that. Like I miss that stuff. That's fun.
Yeah.
All right. I think
I'm so nervous.
I think I'm
I
ready.
am too.
Why
I don't
am I
know.
nervous?
I don't know, but I am, and I don't know how this.
Yeah.
What-
I'm not even invested.
Before he says what it is,
Oh.
it's always it's tough because if you go to a team immediately that's a winner, you're going to be called a bandwagon.
Right.
All of a sudden, Zeth's
yeah.
a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I know you were a Chargers fan, so you probably hate the Chiefs. But I'm just saying, or all of a sudden you're an Eagles fan. It's like, oh, bandwagoner. But if you go to a team that sucked and now that still stinks and they're rebuilding like the Texans, I'd be like, okay.
So
I don't hate that.
Oh, more respect for
I don't
him?
hate that.
I have a cousin
I don't hate that.
who didn't really have a vested interest in any team. And when he was young, because I remember this, he's old guy now, but when he was young, he was like, all right, well, I need a team. And I don't want to be what the families are, which is 49ers or Raiders. I don't want to be either one. I'm going to randomly pick a team and become a fan of them. And he has this entire time. He is a Carolina Panthers fan. You want to talk about bizarre.
Yeah.
You're in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Try finding a Carolina Panthers anything in the Bay Area.
Oh,
Anywhere.
before the
Honestly,
internet?
Honestly, just anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so for decades now, he's been a Carolina Panthers fan. I mean, it must be.
Why would you choose the Panthers?
Because they were brand new, and he was like, "Well, I might as well pick a team that's brand new,
So I'll start
and then
from
I'll
the-
start from the beginning." And he's been a
Wow.
Panthers fan. So I go, "Okay, be a Panthers fan. You're a loser, but
Oh,
be a Panthers
okay.
fan
All right.
all you
All right.
want."
Okay.
And then I also have my nephew, who he again wanted to rebel. And so he randomly was going to pick a team, and he is randomly a Denver Broncos fan.
Oh.
And he's the only person in our family, anybody that I know,
Wow.
that is a Denver Broncos fan.
How old was
And
he when he picked that?
he was a teenager.
So how many years ago?
It was like the early 90s. Or no,
Oh.
not early 90s, early 2000s. So,
Okay.
I mean, it was like Peyton Manning-ish
Yeah.
around there. And so I go, okay, be a Broncos fan,
Yeah.
but it's just weird.
Yeah, it is
if
weird.
you don't have a reason, like your dad was a fan or
That's
you're
how
from
it
that
is with me.
area
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's reasons why you pick a team.
Yes.
So Zeth,
Oh,
up,
God.
bud?
I want to hear what the team is and why you've chosen this specific team.
Okay. So 4 words about covers it, Eddie. How about them Cowboys?
Oh my
You
God.
motherfucker.
You're
Yeah.
a Cowboys
You
America's
fan.
team.
What
Pissing both of you off at the same time.
Ain't nobody America's team, man.
Whoa.
It's not the Steelers. We know
Oh,
that.
well,
for
that's
sure.
true.
Heard
Oh
that.
yeah,
True.
that was a hot.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
How did this
Cowboys.
happen?
Numerous reasons.
How does it? You're
The
never
one
going to win a
team-
title again. Like you haven't won a title in almost 30
Good point.
years. It's
Okay.
never going to
You got a
happen
point.
again as long as Jerry's still alive. Why?
You know,
They're the biggest scumbags on earth.
we said, both of us,
Yeah.
that's the one team we both hate
Yes.
unanimously.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Why would you choose that team?
Because
Big Prescott guy.
honestly, I kind of like that you guys hate them.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like
First,
that
But
but
you're supposed to be our friend.
That's sidebar.
Okay.
That's sidebar.
Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, I have family in Dallas, Texas.
So
They've
do
been
I.
there
I
for a
hate
while.
You hate your family?
Yeah, my uncle,
God.
my aunt. Can't
that's
stand them.
I
so
live
mean.
in Dallas.
Yeah, see, that's good for you. That's fantastic. Doesn't mean you have to be a Cowboys fan.
No, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, exactly. That's good for you.
Yeah.
So
They're
I have.
America's butthole.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's their slogan.
We know that's Fresno. Obviously.
Good point. Can't argue that.
Okay. So I have family out there. I was actually, when I was a youngin', a kid before the Chargers went to the Super Bowl, that was kind of the catalyst for my huge Chargers fandom. And before that, I was a fan of the Cowboys triplets. Like Michael Irvin was my favorite player.
Front runner.
Like ever.
Emmett, Troy.
I was like 7 years old.
I was
Right.
I was in elementary school in New York. I was the only guy rocking a giant starter jacket because all my loser friends were front running Cowboy fans.
Whoa.
That's right.
Those sound like awesome guys. I wish I could be.
you want to be in that crew.
Yeah, they sound awesome. Lambo, that guy sounds like a dick. I'm hanging out with Ferrari. So I picked the team because I have family out there, because I was a fan when I was a kid. I love the way that Jerry Jones handles personnel. I like the way that he drafts and that he'll take chances on.
But then he'll just bring in
allegedly
Trey
convicted
Lance
criminals.
and kill the vibe of the team without asking anybody.
I love the Lance
of
trade,
course you do.
honestly, because Dak Prescott, the
Your typical
quarterback,
cowboy.
is so injured, and you gave up so little for a guy that was a first-round pick like 2 years ago.
Do you also love how they always employ like pieces of shit?
I'm not that mad at it,
Yeah.
honestly.
That's right. That's Sally.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
playbook.
I fit right in with the
Oh
kid.
yeah. He's hanging out at the White House. This guy.
Yeah, I
yeah.
bet.
Yeah. You remember that?
Was that
That was where they went and did cocaine and stuff like that.
Oh,
in
I was
the
gonna say
90s.
Nate Newton and all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah,
It was like
surprised me.
across from the training facility.
Yes.
Like it
I
was
am now
across the
every
street from the
time they
field.
lose now, Stephen A. Smith does this thing on Twitter that's really funny
Yeah.
and mocks them.
Yeah.
So get ready for those
Oh,
tweets.
send it to him
I
every
will.
time.
I
Bring
will.
it on,
Time.
Doofus. Daniel
Yeah.
Jones still sucks.
Oh,
does.
okay. Is this what we're gonna do now?
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing now.
I'm uncomfortable.
You
I
guys,
agree with him.
You guys realize what's happening on Sunday night football
Oh
this week?
yeah, it's a big
What?
game.
It is the Cowboys versus the Niners.
Oh, shit.
And now I have to deal with this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Now, well, this is great. Good timing, Zeth.
Can't wait for Monday
Oh,
morning.
this is brutal.